two-way conversation at the moment.
Okay.
Right, let me just finish speaking, please. There will be a pause, and then you can, please. Okay. Otherwise, I'm going to have to stop this conversation, Kerry, all right?
Right.
Because you're doing it constantly.
It's because I'm passionate about it.
If somebody decides to do something I don't agree with to their body, do I have the right to say, you're not allowed to do that, and therefore I disagree with that, and therefore I'm going to highlight it and its opposite? No, I do not, unless I can prove that they are part of a sinister agenda and that's the way they're doing it. Now you can speak.
Gary, you said that you can't say whatever because and call them evil. I'm not even saying that, but you should be maintaining biological reality. You should be honouring and respecting women's rights and protections by actually going with biological reality. We're not saying that you have to call people evil for doing it. They are programmed, and it is a sinister agenda that's harmful, and it erases safeguarding and for children and for everybody really. But in still using the pronouns of the preferred gender, as they would say, is pandering to the ideology. By using biological reality and saying it's Bradley Manning and he turned to Chelsea and blah blah blah, that is addressing the situation. It's not necessarily calling anyone evil, but it's addressing reality rather than pandering to the lie. That's the issue I've got. And it's throwing women under the bus when men and women are still choosing to go along with calling people the wrong sex pronouns and all the rest of it because they're too busy trying to appear nice and reasonable to these people. You have no idea the level of hatred and vitriol I've had from men posing with knives, from men that are into paedophilia, that are all now calling themselves women, Gary. You have no idea. And I cannot and I will not support anybody that will not call biological reality. And if you're still going to use pronouns and stuff for that, you know, call people like Chelsea and anyone else a woman, and then say, well, it's their choice because of whatever they've done to their body, then I'm not on board with it. That is my line that I draw, and I'm entitled to draw it. I absolutely cannot respect any man or woman that will go along with a lie just so that they can appear nice and reasonable on this issue. You don't have to call people evil. You don't have to, you know, but how can everyone be slagging off this person and that person's position and that person's this, and you say this about everyone else, but then it comes to someone who's transgender and a massive part of the agenda, and you're going to throw women under the bus like we don't matter, and say that any man can call himself a woman, and you will go along with it because it's his right to call himself a woman. That's what you're saying, isn't it?
Chelsea, Kerry, I'm not pandering to anyone, Kerry.
Okay.
This is about considering all things and all options. I'm completely against transgenderism. I will publicly say that. However, I do have to say, if people choose to and they're not being mind controlled and part of it, who am I to say that I can't agree? You know, have to tell them what they can do to their body.
Do you think?
I can't say anything other than that.
Do you think any sane person of sound mind would choose to do that? It's a lot of men with mental health issues and paraphilias, and that is proven. And I can prove it myself, even with the people I know. It's not a normal. You cannot be of sound mind and be doing this to yourself, and then they're also pushing it onto children, Gary. Is Chelsea Manning to you then? Are you going to continue calling him a she on the document?
If that is your reason for ending your contact with me, then you know that's a real shame.
Gary, Gary?
Because I do not.
Go on. What I'm saying is, women and girls matter, and this issue is really, really important. And if you being considered nice by men claiming to be women and all the rest of it, if that matters more to you, then actually, because this is mind control, you are pandering to an MK Ultra. And sorry, I keep using the term pandering, and I don't mean to. I just keep saying it at the moment. But, you know, you are adhering to it. It is mind control. Nobody is really doing anything of their own free will when it's being forced on people and so heavily funded. And you've got male rapists at the moment housed in women's prisons around the world, particularly Canada and Australia are really bad with it, but UK is just as bad. Scotland's terrible. It all links into the agenda, and I can't understand why you would have a document that would expose all the agenda and everything and go on about so many important things and then fall at this hurdle. Because to me, you're falling at this hurdle and it's actually hurtful. As a woman, I'm hurt by it. I know it might not mean anything to you, Gary, but it disgusts me, actually.
Kerry.
Yes.
Kerry, do you really think I don't care and I'm trying to support children and women? I think it's blatantly obvious that I do. Well, so the fact that can I finish?
Yeah.
The fact that you're using this to say I don't actually support women and children is absolutely ludicrous.
I'm not saying, I'm saying that you are falling at a major hurdle and you are throwing women and children under the bus if you are going to continue calling men women just because you're talking about it being their freedom of choice, when we've already talked about MK Ultra programming and how much all this is being funded. It's so important for men and women to be speaking out on this and to be addressing in reality. You don't have to be unkind and call people evil and all the rest of it, but it definitely needs addressing and not adhering to, because it is falling into the agenda.
Kerry,
yeah.
Kerry, I have spoken about transgenderism. I've said it's part of their agenda.
Yeah, but
I've spoken about the Baphomet. That doesn't mean I have to do what you are telling me, all right, and just change a word because you personally are upset by that. I have to think of the entire world moving forward in this.
There's a lot of women in the world.
If you want to, Kerry,
go on.
If you want to break contact with me because of something as ridiculous as that word, then that's your decision.
Okay. Well, Gary, so Gary, are you saying that Bradley Manning, who was in the US military, who then became transgender in the military, so is not mind controlled, and he's choosing to be a woman, and so in the document you're calling him a woman? Yes? Is that what you're telling me?
Do we know that? Right, do we know that? Do we actually know they haven't chosen to do that? Without that, we don't know that. Until I know that, Kerry.
Do you give Tommy Robinson the same level of consideration as you do men in dresses, Gary? This is really, really important.
Kerry.
This is so important. I'm really upset about it. You don't, and it's not me telling you what to do. This is millions of women. There's millions and millions and millions and millions of women. Well, do you know what? Blame it on women, Gary. I'm sorry. Enjoy pandering to it all, which you are doing. I'm really upset by it. It's not about me, it's about women and girls globally, and you are throwing us under the bus because you want to be Mr. Nice Guy, and actually you're not being Mr. Nice Guy on this issue.